It was the dry summers of 1172 in the borderlands of Cordoba, Andalusia. 22-year-old Karim had spent 3 years as a warrior for the local Muslim ruling forces, and he firmly believed that the highest form of devotion to Allah was to win battles against raiding forces that had seized Muslim villages and harmed local people. He wore a carved amulet with verses from the Quran around his neck and had never hesitated to draw his sword against anyone he saw as an enemy of his faith. After a fierce battle that pushed the raiders out of a small farming village, Karim was ordered to chase the remaining enemy fighters into the nearby rocky valley. He rode his horse for an hour before he spotted a crumbling mud hut half hidden between gnarled olive trees. A blind old woman in a frayed abaya sat outside the door, feeding 3 small orphaned children who had lost their parents in the crossfire of repeated raids from both sides of the conflict. The woman did not hear Karim approach until he dismounted, and instead of panicking, she invited him in, offering him the only food she had: 3 dried dates and a cup of murky well water.
All the fighters who pass through here take our food and break our things, but I know Allah will send someone one day who will protect us instead of hurting us. That is what the Holy Book teaches, is it not? That we must care for the weakest among us, and that killing an innocent person is as grave a sin as killing all of humanity.
Karim felt his throat go tight. He had memorized that exact verse as a child, but he had forgotten it entirely in the rush of battles and constant calls for military victory. He realized he had been fighting for land and pride for months, not for the mercy and justice his faith actually taught him. He did not continue chasing the raiders that day. Instead, he spent 3 hours repairing the woman's leaking hut, left all the dried bread and cured meat he carried in his pack for the children, and rode back to the camp to speak to his commander. He proposed a new rule. Every unit would assign 2 fighters to stay behind in every war-torn village to protect civilians, share rations with them, and help them rebuild their homes, no matter what religion the civilians followed. For the next 40 years of his life, Karim never raised his sword against anyone who was not actively attacking an innocent person. When he died at the age of 62, he was buried with the worn Quran amulet around his neck and the half-eaten date he had saved from that day in the valley tucked in his pocket. The local people, both Muslim and Christian, called him the guardian of the valley and remembered him not for the battles he won, but for the hundreds of lives he saved across decades of conflict. His last words, written down by his son, were, "The truest jihad is not the fight against enemies on the battlefield. It is the fight to keep kindness in your heart, even when the world around you is cruel, and to live every day by the mercy Allah commands of us."